Alrighty, we got ourselves team 1 with Remy. We got ourselves. How do you say your name? Gore? Let's call you Gore. G-O-R, dude. 3 last letters. We got Kragar in here. We got ourselves Yasiya. And we got ourselves Telerion. Wow! Dude, I actually saw this on forums. Like, why can't they just complete the beard? The goatee and then this kind of hair option for Blood Elves. Why can't they just complete the beard? They totally should. Are you Blood Elf or Void Elf? It's so hard with blue eyes, dude. It's so... You actually look kind of dope. I'm not gonna lie. It actually looks kind of dope. We got ourselves Tasty on the other team with... We got ourselves Lay. We got ourselves Effie. We got ourselves Jello. Looking really mellow. And Worgren. First up is going to be Kragar, dude. First up versus Worgren by the looks of it. So survival versus a Fury Warrior. Looks like Kragar is not going to waste any time. Just going to get right in there. Worgren trying to go for a bit of a setup with those nades. Going to be Kragar dropping in the Nazat Trinket immediately. Stunned by Worgren. Let's look to disengage away from Kragar. Get the dots up and running. Kragar leaping into Worgren. Trying to see... Might be able to reconnect. Worgren is going to pull that pet back. Does not need to give Kragar those free bloodthirsts off the pet. Trying to drop in the tar trap. Not going to stop Kragar really. Does go for a dress, but looks like it did nothing. Kragar does get a Stormbolt onto Worgren. Trying to get the damage in, but looks like the dots from Survival Hunter are doing quite a bit of work. Fear comes in as Worgren looking to back away. That's going to be like Manning Bandit as Kragar goes in for Ignore Pain. At least it's going to be a bit of a reset for both of them. Worgren caught up on a little bit of health. Kragar caught up on a bit of health of his own with that Ignore Pain on top of it. But the two are pretty close. Worgren is using Master Skull in order to stay mobile. Throwing a bike at Kragar. The Kragar does have the pet to attack anytime he wants. There's going to be a Stormbolt into Worgren as he goes in for that Harpoon. And Kragar's looking... Like, we'll see it at half the health, but I feel like we might expect them defensive Kragar. There goes Zatrigan, but does he go for Enrage Regeneration at this point? Is he going to be low enough? Stun, but Worgren does get the Safeguard Trinket, so both absorbs for Kragar are down. Does Kragar go for that Enrage Regen with a Freezing Trap to follow? Oh, man, that's a good snapshot, honestly. Look at that, dude. Look at that, it looks so good. Stormbolt and Worgren. As he goes in for recklessness of his own. That charge heal should be enough. And should be able to stay on top of Worgren if he has that. I don't know if he does have... Oh, it looks like he does have the rigid blows that do let him move. But Kragar taking quite a lot of damage. Big damage. Kragar does go for Warlock Hellstone. Might to go for Enrage Regen against Worgren. His health is real low. The Drastic Death almost makes it bad. Reflect available in case the Freezing Trap comes up for Worgren. Does get a Freezing Trap into Kragar against his Enrage Regen. So Worgren, while did let at least one Bloodthirst go through with Enrage Regen, at least majority of that healing for Kragar did not allow him to do it. So Kragar might need to be a little bit more careful. Commanding shot still available for Kragar. So he still has a commanding lead on that. Nazat Trinket on use coming out every single second he gets to. That's going to be Worgren trying to bail out as Kragar closes the gap. Does go for a few to disrupt the Hunter. Worgren still holding on to Turtle Shell. No exhilaration for a little bit. So between him and the pets and the dots and all that Survival Hunter damage, it might be okay. Bladestorm stops Worgren from using CC. Turtle Shell comes out to catch up a little bit of healing. Kragar should be turning attention to the pet. Cannot get a charge off of the pet. That's going to be Harpoon, but Worgren immediately met with a Stormbolt as Kragar trying to see if he might be able to stay alive here. Again, Commanding Shot available. Puts him on ice for a little bit. Looks like Worgren is looking to maybe get himself a camo off. If he can get a camo, like full camo and wait it out, he might be okay. Kragar does use all the Crucibles in order to pop himself as much self-healing as possible. Even going for Mage Food, which he might. That's perfectly fine if he does do it. That is part of the group composition they got going on for the duels. Worgren tried to see if he might be able to just outlast and outrange Kragar. Stormbolt comes out with that charge. And Kragar goes in for a bit of reckless. 40 seconds left on that Enrage Regeneration. Probably has no Zot up now by then. Does have the Zot Stricken. Worgren trying to burn as much damage to Kragar as possible, but his health is not looking that good. Looks like the better version of the Recklessness does give Kragar a competitive burst advantage now. Stuns Kragar on his charge. Trying to see if he might be able to just let the dots kind of do the work for a little bit. Kragar does have over himself a little bit of self-heal with those Crucibles. Not using them offensively, just using them for self-heal. Also, it really should be attacking the pet as much as possible. Stormbolt under Worgren through the wall by the looks of it. Worgren is going to have to defend this a little. Kragar popping in Reflect in case a Freezing Trap comes up to stop him. That's going to be a Blade Storm in case Worgren tried to Harpoon. That's going to be actually Worgren super close in health. Does sprint out of there with Cheetah. Really in a bad situation. As Kragar did go for a little bit more damage. Leap onto Worgren. Does get himself Exhilaration on the very last second. And maybe, just maybe, still has a chance against Kragar. Kragar does have defenses back up. We are at 4 minutes. Stormbolt into Worgren. It looks like Kragar does not have a Reckless for a little bit. Reflect up in case Worgren tries to drop down a trap. Looks like the dots might have Worgren save those Crucibles for the very last second. Harpoon, freezing trap. Worgren trying to go for Manic Bandage. Looks like Kragar does not have a Reflect. Does not have a Trinket either. That's going to be Worgren jumping into camo yet again. If you can just stay away from Kragar, he might be okay. At this point, you might as well let Kragar catch up on food. Kragar trying to deny Worgren as much healing as possible, as these two are just going at it with one another. Kragar making the rounds on his mount, trying to see if he can find Worgren. Does he? Does see the pet. Which is going to get Worgren out in the open. At this point, how does a Hunter win this? I feel like you need to do the same thing you did with Kragar the first time around. Try to see if you can disengage out of there, but a Stormbolt stops him midway. That's going to be a mobility loss. Reflective Veil for Kragar. Probably is going to go for Blaze Storm to follow if he can cover it. Stun by Worgren, doing a bit of burst onto Kragar. Trying to pull the pet back. There goes the N'Zoth Trinket as Worgren is slowly but surely getting the cooldowns out of Kragar. We're getting all the defenses out. Kragar's taking quite a considerable damage. Does Kragar have Safeguard Trinket though? Is that going to proc once he gets low enough health? If he does, and Worgren can put him on ice as soon as Enrage Regen comes out, or rotate maybe a stun Trinket into a freezing trap. Let him sit in a full no heal Enrage Regen. Then he might be fine. Reflective Will for Kragar in case. Safeguard Trinket procced by, get thrown out by Worgren. Kragar does still hold on to Enrage Regen. Worgren is still not out of the woods yet, but there goes all his defensives besides the big one. All his other absorbs are up. Kragar does go for a heal from Yasiya, so he does also have a Warlock health. So man, the healing this warrior is given in this duel is insane. Does go for Recklessness, doing quite a lot of damage. Worgren better be aware of his health. Does go for a Turtle Shell. And Kragar is still super low on health. Can go for Enrage Regen anytime he wants to. He has the pet to leap off of if he needs to. Stormbolt onto Worgren. Does he go for Enrage Regen? He does go for it. Try to catch up on Bloodthirst. Reflect available. Worgren cannot really stop. The heal does go for the stun. Throwing in nades. Kragar is going to be down on that heal. N'Zoth Trinket, maybe final bulwark for him. Final way for him to be able to outlast it. Does try to get the damage onto the pet. Maybe some Bloodthirst off of it as well. But besides N'Zoth Trinket, which is going to come back in a minute, and besides his own self heals, and actually Worgren catches himself a camo for just a quick second. Might be able to maybe have some damage, maybe another dress for Kragar at some point. Potentially. Manic Bandage coming out for Worgren. Is going to get the pet up and running onto Kragar. Stormbolt hits him. Does Kragar go for a charge heal maybe? Because he needs to recover some health. There's going to be a big dress by Worgren. Kragar, does he have enough healing? Commanding Shout available. Does he have N'Zoth coming up anytime soon? Commanding Shout is up. Worgren does put him on ice. I don't know if he needs to put a flare on him, but he does. And it's going to try to see if it can hit him with some more dots. Might have it here. Kragar needs some healing right now. N'Zoth Trinket needs to come back. Almost has Worgren so close. Charge comes out. Does disengage immediately. The Eagles are flying. Kragar looking to get himself as much healing as possible. Worgren does take him out in a 7-minute duel. Almost 8-minute duel at this point. Versus Kragar, taking him out, taking the victory, and that's going to be Remy with Zombos rolling up at Worgren. I don't know if Worgren took quite a lot to fight against Kragar. I don't really know if he has much to fight against Rem, though. With all those dots and the pet doing all the work, yeah, not a lot you could really do. But he played as well as he could, with Tasty going to be next up. Okay, Tasty is 1, and Rem is 2? Rem is 1. Oh, it works out. But it's going to be Tasty up next versus Rem. Is it going to go for maybe some damage as Ram trying to cut across? Really should have maybe been a little quicker cutting across, because at least he gave Tasty a Flame Shock. And if you connect now, AMS available. Is AMS going to be enough though? Does Tasty burn through AMS like it's actually nothing? Throwing out them Lightning Bolt noodles. That's going to be a Ram IBF as well as a Death Pact immediately, just to give him as much health as possible. Still has that. Did he have like a second AMS or something? Or was that literally the same AMS? It looked like he still has the clutches of an AMS available. I don't even know. Maybe it's like a second AMS he could throw out from time to time. It's going to be Lightning Last onto Remy, as he does have Lichborn in order to get himself any kind of bit of healing. Does get the army rolling onto Tasty. Needs to slow Tasty down. Stuns him. Trick coming out for the Shaman, as he's trying to see if he can Ghost Wolf out of there. The army of the dead just joined the fight. There's going to be some necrotic stacking up Tasty. Tasty gets his own pet up and running against Ram without Fire Elemental. And that's going to be Spirit Walker's Grace, letting him run and cast at the same time. And Ram is not in a good spot at all. Needs the big transfusions from Tasty. Was that going to be enough though? What is this random AMS he's getting? So it doesn't look like it's a real AMS. I think it's from like a trade or something. It has to be a trade then. Or some kind of a proc. Yasiya getting a stun on Tasty, trying to go for a big Tyrant immediately. Looks like a Tyrant is going to get some damage clapped into Tasty as the second stun comes out with a Mortal Coil running him away right afterwards. Yasiya has a lot of pressure on Tasty. Those pets by themselves are doing a lot of work. Trying to slow down the cast heals for Tasty. Does do a lot here. Tasty barely surviving this right now. Healing Surge is available, but needs to get the hell away from Yasiya right now. He's really not out of the woods. He just committed everything into that Death Knight. But Yasiya is still throwing a lot of pressure at him. Those pets are still up. Fell guard. Okay, one of the guards is down. Stun into Yasiya and stun on the pet. I don't even know how he had such a wide range on that stun. But he did. ADDONS? Wait, does Yasiya have like a pet attacking? I think it was the pet he was going to attack. Oh yeah, Earth Elemental. There it is. So Yasiya could get ADDONS from that. Tasty getting hit with a stun. Yasiya getting hit with a pet stun from Tasty. And the Shaman, how is he going to be able to do it? Now, maybe he has maybe some pressure, maybe some damage. Feeling confident at least. Yasiya waiting for the next stun. He does put Curse on Tasty. Most likely using a Curse of Tongues. Maybe a Curse of Slow. Most likely a Curse of Tongues. Mortal Coil right into Tasty with a Fury to follow. Tasty does not pre-tremor this, and Yasiya taking an opportunity to drain life off of the pet just a little more as it's just Tasty catching up on all the health. Tasty does not have line of sight. Looks like it's going to be a duel between the two. Fear could come down. Tasty does not drop a tremor ahead of time. That's going to be Tyrant trying to come out as double Lava Burst comes out for Tasty's stun. And the Tyrant should be doing a lot of damage. Tasty triggers at the very last second. Gets a second stun from his Earth Elemental onto Yasiya. Needs heals immediately at 35% dampen. It's going to be pretty important for him to get as much healing as possible. Does go for Spirit Walker's Grace. At least he can move away from Yasiya and get some casts off so he heals. But it's still under a lot of pressure as Yasiya just continues to send pets at him over and over. Vile Fiend rolling in. Tasty might be looking maybe at a reposition or maybe at scoring a kill into Yasiya. He knows that it's going to be a Mortal Coil at some point. Does get a stun, knockback as the stun comes out. Mortal Coil, not all that he can really do. Yasiya has Reflect available, so Tasty can't even do much about it. Except Ghost Wolf out of there. I think it might be over for the Shaman Blow right here. There it goes. I believe Tasty might have burned the Dark Iron Racial at the very end, trying to take off all those dots, but with those pets and a Drain Life, that was it, man. With barely any health and 39% dampening, there's only so much you can do. It's going to be Jello up next. Yep, Jello, number 4 versus Yasiya, number 3. And he's playing the Marksman, so he's got to go for the big old aim shot in the open against Yasiya. Double aim shot comes out. Bike not connecting. Hits a wall. That's going to be important for Yasiya as it bails out of there. Jello looking to catch up to Yasiya immediately. Looks like it's going to be an aim shot trying to make some plays here with another aim shot to follow. Yasiya does have the pets up and running. But it's going to be interrupted into Shadow. Aim shot knocks back. Yasiya does hit Jello with a stun and the Tyrant comes out. The Tyrant is going to do quite a number of damage here. Jello better be aware. Mortal Coil into Jello. Does he actually interrupt the... Did he try to interrupt the Tyrant? It looked like the Tyrant actually stopped casting for a second. That's going to be Drain Life as Jello goes into Turtle Shell. Freezing Trap onto Yasiya. But I think he's done to the demons. That's super unfortunate. Effie is going to be up next. Second to last versus Yasiya. Does hit him with a Rake opener, trying to get the dots up and running too. Fear to follow. Actually, Yasiya decides against it. Bike going to throw at Yasiya, but I think his Felguard actually is the bike. I think his Felguard literally ate the bike, trying to let it Fear out to Effie. Effie does shrink it by the looks of it. And another Fear and a Drain Life as Yasiya just trying not to break the Spheres, trying to catch up on as much health as he can. A 47% dampener, boys. Vile Fiend rolling out for Yasiya. Stun onto Effie. Does Yasiya have any more damage to fall? Mortal Coil, maybe? No, he does have Mortal Coil. All the pets are up. Actually, might just have it. Yasiya taken out of Fel right before he is up against Lei, the last man on the other team, taking him out with a Shadow Strike and vanishes out of there. I don't really know if Lei needed to really vanish out of there, but that's it, man. It was that. And it's going to be our man, Gore, up next, dude. Gore is up next. Call him out. Call him out. Oh, man. That Warlock, dude. That's something. That's special. Sap onto Gore as Lei, trying to see if he can lay low. Cheap shot onto Gore, and he's going to get some Shadow Strikes in. Get a shot to follow. Maybe big damage. Blood of the enemy. Gore does go for a Ice Block. It's going to get a slow onto Lei. Shadow Step coming out yet again. Blink it away as long as he can get rid of the Shadow Steps. But blink it away from Lei. He might actually have Lei out in the open with not a lot to do. Smoke Bomb trying to see if he can get himself a bit of a reset. It looks like Gore might just have to take it a little bit slow. He does pick up the eyes. He's actually a decent amount of health. He eyes blocked high as saw Lei going in for big damage without Blood of the Enemy. Looked like he actually went for a Ice Block maybe a little early. But he's going to get on top of Lei. It looks like it's going to be no delay between Lei opening up on Gore. Does have the images, so that does reduce the damage by 20% for our next few attacks. I keep swapping the wrong person. I'm so sorry. Okay, Lei's number 2. Gore's number 1. Okay. Now I can maybe do it. Now I can, if I can only remember. It looks like Gore is actually taking quite a lot of damage from Lei, though. So far, Gore has been able to play defensive. And Lei has been able to get aggressive and really be the one making the openers and openers and plays happen. Maybe Gore has like a big one-shot available for Lei. He's just waiting for like the big cooldowns like Cloak of Shadows to be out. Because the Lei will not have advantage for a few seconds. Cheap shot, trying to get the dots up and running, getting the damage on rolling, getting the shot to follow right after. It's going to be quite a bit of damage. Cheap shot to follow right after for this. That's going to be touching the magic for it. Finally, for Gore, might be enough damage here versus Lei. Does he go for the big missiles? Cloak of Shadows comes out for the rogue immediately. So there goes all that damage. Again, I told you, I'm going to miss. I'm going to forget which one is which. Gore does blink behind or blink around the pillar for Lei. Try to see if he can at least keep him in combat as best as possible. Lei looking to get him into another lineup, missing the kick. That's going to be Gore get himself quite a good range with that time war. Temporal available for the skinny shot. It is going to be heavily reduced by 62%. Big blow to the enemy for Lei. Trying to go for as much damage as possible into Gore. Barely surviving this. No ice block available. Invisible for a second. It looks like Lei is going to take him out. Telerion is going to be up next and last man on team 1 left over. As an arms warrior versus a sub rogue. No more healing available. Lei does at least have a sippy cup to heal with. Telerion doesn't really have that much healing baseline, but maybe ignore pain and everything might be enough. Who's going to win this one, boys? The rogue or the warrior? Evasion still available for Lei. Berserker Rage and does get Lei tagged with a crucible. Telerion, is he going to leap in, maybe commit some movement in order to catch up to Lei? Leap, charge, does not get the charge though. Very, very unfortunate. Cold blood available for Lei. Blind available. So he actually has a really good setup against Telerion. Telerion coming in fresh with full cooldowns, but it's really going to be about Lei making sure he plays it right. I feel like if Lei makes a mistake and Telerion punishes him for mistakes, I think that's the only way Telerion is going to win. If I had to judge, it's going to be all cheap shots, fully stunned DR. Telerion finally can do some damage, get the bleeds onto Lei. Big Avatar comes out. Colossus Master Fall. Lei does not go for evasion. What? Why so? Called it. He had to not make a mistake. Otherwise, he's done for. But that's going to be Telerion taking one down, dude. My man. There it is. Had evasion, had blind, and the rogue just didn't use either one. Rogue just didn't use either one, boys. I don't even know what's going on. Oh, boy. Oh, man. Chopped. Dude, you better use evasion early. I know overpower goes through evasion, but you better use it as early as possible, especially when you see a Colossus Smash coming down on you. Warbreaker, big Avatar. Oh, I'll be afraid too, man.